whatever a spider can. Spins a web.
Hi again, everyone. Scott Player Pop Gold fan here, and today I'm finally going to review Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And now, this movie I thought was very enjoyable. I loved this movie. Oh man, like when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I wasn't intrigued at first, but when I actually saw the movie, it impressed the hell out of me. Because the animation style is just so unique because it's a superhero flick. It follows the story of Miles Morales and just so much more than that, because it's not your typical origin story. It is an origin story, but it's not your typical origin story. You know what I mean? Because you have the Into the Spider-Verse subtitle, just really like undermining like the fact that this movie is more of a Miles Morales story, but at the same time focusing on introducing some of these other characters to you from the Spider-Verse. And, just a very unique animation style was just well thought out. And also, the humor was well balanced with the drama, the more heartfelt moments throughout the film. They did a really good job with with the Prowler villain. They did a good job with that villain, but with Kingpin, there wasn't a whole lot to him. There was a little bit. They did kind of explain the reason why he was doing what he was doing, but they didn't really go a whole lot into that character. That was my one major flaw with the movie. Other than that, though, this movie is, quite frankly, just an amazing movie just throughout. It's a very enjoyable movie with very meta humor, which is something you don't expect from a Spider-Man movie, but it worked within the confines of the kind of movie that this is. The humor worked, and they balanced the tone really well with the more dramatic moments, like I just said. And it's a very enjoyable movie throughout from beginning to end. They did quite a bit of they put quite a bit of effort into making this world look visually fascinating, basically. And it was very intriguing, very different, and I loved it. It was a very good movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And the actors, I did an amazing job in their respective roles. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of any of them because I don't recognize any of them except for Nicolas Cage, who voiced Spider-Man Noir. And just overall, like, this movie is something to be praised because it's just something that's so different, while at the same time just paying so much respect to the Spider-Man universe as a whole. And oh man, they pay tribute very well to Stan Lee, and he left an amazing legacy. You will be sorely missed. So yeah, very enjoyable movie throughout. Only one flaw: the villain, the main villain, and yeah, that's really it. Really, my thoughts about this movie are basically already done. I thought this movie was enjoyable as hell. Loved it. I loved the fact that we saw a couple new abilities that Miles Morales' version of Spider-Man had. Something that you don't really see. You don't really see Spider-Man having like abilities like the ones that Miles has, and they play it for humor, which was great. Particularly, there was a moment between the Kingpin and Miles at the very end, which was very funny, put a major smile on my face. It was just awesome, and they did a good job with the action sequences. With the way the visuals were, they did a really good job with the action throughout the film, especially since there's so many characters in this movie. Like, this movie is, in a way, does have a lot of characters. There's all the Spider-Verse characters, which were very fun to get to know. They play their backstories in humorous ways that just reminded me of the Arrowverse shows a little bit, which was kind of funny. But yeah, and also this movie does have quite a few moments that are very, very dramatic. Like, seriously, they balance the tone really well. I loved the more dramatic moments because you really felt something for the character of Miles. This movie focuses mainly on Miles, but at the same time expands on the Spider universe as a whole, which was great. They did a really good job with that, and I loved it. It was great. So my grade for this movie is an A. I loved every second of this movie. Only flaw was the main villain, Kingpin. There just wasn't much to him. He just felt like a one-dimensional, bulky cartoon villain. There just wasn't much to him. I mean, there was a little bit, but not that much. That was my only flaw. Other than that, though, this movie is amazing. I give, like I said, an A. So that is my review for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Thank you all so much for watching. Next time, I will review Aquaman. Peace, everyone. See you next time.
Is he strong? Listen, buddy, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man.